Welcome to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, and today we're going full tilt into the mayhem of Deadpool 2, a sequel that somehow manages to be bloodier, sadder, and even more insane than the first. Now, confession time, I didn't rewatch this one either, and you know what? That feels fitting. Deadpool lives in my head rent-free, loudly, constantly, and often without pants. This episode is coming straight from memory, emotion, and a very fuzzy version of the truth. It really hasn't been that long since I've seen it. I constantly watch MCU and Marvel movies, so it's been maybe a month or two. Let's just see how much this movie still hits, though, going over it. So, my instant reaction when thinking of Deadpool 2 and when I saw it in theaters is the movie pulls no punches. It opens with a giant heartbreak, Vanessa's death, and it's brutal and immediately changes the tone. I didn't see it coming. Maybe it was hinted at in the trailers, but I thought that was a really powerful moment. I mean, taking a character like Deadpool and Wade Wilson and giving him like a serious thing to deal with, like something so important as saving his spouse, he can't do it. And just seeing the complexity of that in him, it says, yeah, we're still joking, but we're also hurting. He is always joking through any of it, you know? And then we cut to the James Bond style opening sequence with the Celine Dion song, where I'm like, what are they playing here? And I found out it was Celine Dion. And I'm like, so let beauty fall out of ashes. You know, it's one of my favorite openings, maybe, of all the Deadpools. Maybe my favorite opening. I don't know. Deadpool and Wolverine has a pretty great opening, too. But the contrast between tragedy and absurdity, that's the Deadpool formula perfected. And this movie is just as good as the first one, in my opinion. I mean, the first is a classic, but you could tell Ryan Reynolds / Wade Wilson, they're a little more comfortable in the role, and he doesn't hold any bars back. He just goes with it. All right, let's break the movie down a little bit more. Let's start with the fake out of the century, X-Force, which I believe is a known entity in the comics. Am I wrong? Deadpool recruits this elite squad. We think we're about to get this whole new team. And then within minutes, every single one of them dies. Like horribly, hilariously, and awful. Peter, Shatterstar, Zeitgeist, Vanisher, a.k.a. the Invisible Brad Pitt, gone. And it was gruesome. Whichever one of those guys was the guy who spit up the acid. Oh my goodness. That was so tragic. It's so funny. It almost makes your stomach turn a little bit. But Domino, she's a standout. She is a standout. I think she's really cool. I've never heard of this character before, this movie, and I love the luck she has. I just love the action scenes where you're like, are you seriously putting your life on the line like this? And everything just works out for her. That definitely brings, that is a crazy superpower. That's the power I want. Like, if I can really honestly have a power, I might have that power. I might seriously have that power. Because, like, there's been a lot of moments where, like, I've avoided, like, bad situations. Like, I'm not going to go too far into this, but, like, my first day out with the car when I had a license, the end of the day I crashed it into a pole because I mixed up the brake and the gas. Okay, I was driving downtown on Lakeshore Drive with that car earlier that day. I could have gotten in a horrible accident. And to be honest, I was a terrible driver. I think I seriously have guardian angels. We're getting a little off topic here, but it's just about that luck. It's just that luck. One time I was moving and I hit my dad was behind me with the truck, and then I hit the brake too fast and I almost spent my dad spinning the truck. I don't like putting myself, I obviously shouldn't be driving here. Zazie Beetz as Domino was the definition of cool. The way they visualized her luck powers, it was slick, and every single moment she's on screen, you just believe it. You believe she's got it. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't bring her back for Deadpool and Wolverine. However, Deadpool's got a big future in the MCU, I would say personally, and I think that we may just see more of her. I sure hope we do. Honestly, I think she's fantastic. She's always been a standout character, and how could we forget, and how could we not mention Cable? Josh Brolin, my Thanos, my man, brings this hardened, time-traveling, gunslinging warrior with a dead family and a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, Thanos was owning the movies that year. I mean, Infinity War was months, if not a few months away from coming out in this situation, and it's like, I swear, he says pump the brakes, Thanos, when they're fighting on the bus. But then when you go back and watch it, I don't know if he ever even calls him Thanos, or my attention span maybe miss it. I've seen this a few times, and I still can't remember, because I think they might have like cut it out or did something different with it in different cuts of the movie. I don't know. It sounds like something that they would do. I didn't realize even that Josh Brolin was Cable, because I wasn't looking too far into the movie and I didn't really process who Josh Brolin was. I wasn't that familiar with him then as I am now, since he's been Thanos. But when I learned, at least going into the movie, I was excited. I mean, you can kind of see Thanos' defined jawline in Josh Brolin. When you look at Josh Brolin, I actually see Thanos. But when I look at Thanos, I just see Thanos. I don't know if there's an episode of this show where I don't bring Thanos up. Let's see Deadpool and Thanos fight 1v1. Thanos, no gauntlet. Okay, Thanos gauntlet, one stone, his choosing. Or Wade's choosing. Let's see, who would win? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Let me know. But, yeah, I think Josh Brolin in this movie as Cable is fantastic. He's kind of like the fake out villain. There's some fights, but they do face a bigger overall challenge in the end. Like, Cable and Deadpool, they have chemistry. And he's like the gruff to Wade's chaotic. And at the same time, it's very much kind of like the dynamic of Deadpool and Wolverine. Like the hard ass with the goofy guy. And Wade is hilariously goofy in this, as always, as he was Deadpool and Wolverine. I think what made Deadpool and Wolverine a little more funny and Cable to still take a little more seriously was I don't know, if you're a fan, how well you know Hugh Jackman as Wolverine definitely affects kind of like how funny Wade is when he's just cracking jokes about him the whole movie. I think it was fantastic. It just still hits me. I really do like Deadpool and Wolverine. It makes me want to maybe just finish this trilogy off and talk about that too next week. We got a lot of Ironheart. I'm going to say this right now. Ironheart, what they're doing now is releasing this next week, I think the upcoming week, they're releasing 3 episodes. And then a week later, they're releasing the last 3 episodes. So they're not doing week by week by week. So I'm still deciding how I want to cover that. I have ADD. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, 3 episodes, it's not like a task if you like the show, but I don't know if I like the show yet, so it does feel like a little bit of a task. And it makes me wonder if I want to just do an episode by episode and give you like the whole show within like individual episodes, or just cover it as they release it, because I mean, they're releasing all 3. I cover all 3 in one episode. And I just hit the main points. It depends on how the show looks and feels. And if by the middle of episode 3, I'm like not vibing with it, we're going to definitely be talking about that. And I don't know. I don't mean to put something down before it started. I'd like to believe, and I pray this show, Ironheart, it hits. So you come along and join me in the first few. We'll see where we're at. And most likely, the plan is right now that I'm going to do them on individual days. And it's still up in the air. Don't be prepared for anything. Just know we will talk about it. If you want to hear 6 episode coverage of something that's going to be pretty much watched in 2 sittings for you, MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com, along with what you feel about that. Do you like the way they're releasing it, or do you feel like they're just kind of like dumping it on us? I kind of feel like they're dumping it on us. And it's not that I don't love Iron Man. It's not that I don't love the actress or Riri or anything like that. It's just, is there a reason behind the way they're releasing this? I can't tell, because they release every show a little bit differently. They obviously wanted to do like week to week with Charlie Cox and Daredevil. I don't know why I said Charlie Cox first, but they gave that week to week because they had faith in the show. But they did do double episodes. It's just weird how they're doing it. and it's okay. We're going to do it our own way here, and one way or the other, we'll be talking about Ironheart. Sorry for that excursion. I realize you're sitting here and you're in here for Deadpool. Before I get too carried away, we got to talk about Russell, aka Firefist, a name we don't hear as often. He's the emotional engine of Deadpool 2, in my opinion. A scared, angry kid bouncing between being a victim and maybe a villain. And Wade sees a chance to break that cycle. This is like Wade's biggest hero moment, and it just so happens to be on this kid who in the future does bad things. It's rough and it's messy. In Deadpool, he fails a lot. But that attempt to save him instead of just kill the bad guy is what makes this sequel deeper. It's not just about blood and jokes anymore. It's about legacy. And Deadpool, he has to decide what kind of hero he wants to be. And that choice, that's what saves Russell and maybe even himself. So back to the main plot. There's this prison scene that happens. I was going to start on it a minute ago, but I realized I needed to talk about Russell because he's so important. And this scene, it hits differently. Wade's collar nullifies his powers, leaving him dying from cancer again. And oh boy, I don't know, the way they visualize him and the way he's carrying himself, and also the way he, I think he bleeds a little bit. And it's genuine worry for Wade. I don't know. It just seems so unsettling every time I see that scene. I think it felt dark. And for Deadpool, dark is kind of rare, but that's what makes, honestly, Deadpool the best movies, is because they'll hit us out of left field with just a situation or a moment that it gets real. But it makes the jokes that he makes, regardless, even funnier. Because he always cracks one, no matter how low he is. I mean, maybe pushed to his extreme, except when he's like screaming in the first one. He's pretty much always running his mouth. So yeah, it's painful to watch. It's quiet. And then it ramps right back up with the entrance of Juggernaut. And I thought I knew Juggernaut pretty well from the original X-Men movies. Nothing like the Juggernaut from those movies. And ironically, that Juggernaut from the other movies does show up in Deadpool Wolverine. So the multiverse is at large, people. A lot of fans mostly. You guys know that. But maybe you didn't. So, hey, I got you. That Juggernaut Colossus fight at the end. That Juggernaut Colossus fight, big and loud, comic book gold. It's the kind of matchup you dream of, and it delivered. Now let's talk post-credit scenes. Time travel, saving Vanessa, saving Peter, killing off the Wolverine Origins Deadpool, the one that they close his mouth. That was a golden scene. I still remember the theater losing it in laughter at that. Reynolds, before he can make Green Lantern, he shoots himself at his desk. It's so meta. How many fourth walls can we break? He broke into our own universe in that scene, or an alternate universe that he kills him. It doesn't sound right. We're going to keep moving. The fact that this montage of him doing the time travel, it's one of those things where you don't realize it's going to be actually addressed later on. Like, he wasn't really ruining time, but he was definitely going between timelines before many were even talking about the multiverse. And that led really well into the multiverse saga and Deadpool and Wolverine. So yeah, Deadpool with that time traveler machine, it's a cleanup montage of the decade, and it's glorious. As we head maybe into our third episode of Deadpool and Wolverine, I just wonder, is it the same Wade or a variant? Will the MCU characters actually hear his fourth wall breaks, or will they just stare blankly as he talks to us? I've addressed this too. I'm going to answer that question to say, I think he's going to be saying everything that he says to us in a fourth wall break to himself, and everyone around him is going to think he's completely nuts. That's not even an original thought. I've heard that somewhere. I kind of love the idea that they treat him like he's unhinged, because he is, and it keeps the tone just weird. Weird enough to work. Like, how are you going to get Thor crying over Deadpool? You know they have to pay it off. Sorry if you haven't seen that yet, but I imagine you might have. Deadpool and Wolverine was like the biggest movie of last year of the superhero genres. So I really, really appreciate you being here. I mean, I don't have as big of a story for this one. I like when Deadpool gets his gray outfit, although it's kind of funny. Like, it's his X-Force outfit, and it's totally like made, like it's like stitched black and gray, but it it seems the way he gets it is falling under a lot of dirt. So it's like just a dirty outfit. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure. That's the part that like always kind of confused me. But it's not like a big deal or anything. It's just I'm curious. I don't want to talk about too many random things. I was in a Twitch chat with a girl, and I said, "How do you feel about the Blake Lively situation?" The girl like went off on me. She was like, "Does this not seem like the right place to be talking about that?" And blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a curious. I was being a little curious, and I didn't like that. I think we should be able to talk about things. I mean, this kind of affects Ryan Reynolds. This whole Blake Lively situation. I don't want to go too far into it, but it makes me wonder, is Marvel keeping tabs, and are they going to lessen Deadpool appearances? Like, I would like to see more and more Deadpool. It seems to me, as of right now, they're letting Ryan get away with just, hey, that's my wife. I didn't do nothing wrong. The thing is, I don't really care. He's perfect for Deadpool. His punishment could be doing more Deadpool. And ironically, if he made Nice Pool based off of that guy, it's the most Deadpool thing he could have ever done. However, I may sound ignorant to this topic because it just doesn't reside with me, and I haven't been paying too much attention to it lately. So if people were hurt, I do care about that, and that definitely needs to be addressed by the people who were bullying or whatever, because we're adults. Why are we bullying each other? Let's get back to the point. Deadpool 2 is a miracle of a sequel. It had no business being this good, but it was. And they balanced heart, chaos, humor, and tragedy in a way only Deadpool could pull off. This wasn't just another R-rated comedy with blood and guts. It's about found family. It's about grief. And somehow, it's still about chimichangas. Thank you for joining me today. I have a big announcement coming soon. It's a great one. It's somewhat involved with the show, but it's cool. I'm so excited. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. And until next time, Avengers, disassemble. Still want more Deadpool chaos? Well, I will be dropping a brand new mini-sode on our Patreon this week. Short, sharp, and straight from the heart. You can hear the first 2 episodes also on our Patreon for free at patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Join our community. You know what they say. Love wins, sarcasm kills, and bonus content slaps harder than Colossus. See you there.